Hey there gang, you're yourukesage, and today we're going to learn to tune the ukulele by ear. Yes, by ear, without the use of an electronic device, solely by our own ears. Okay, so we're assuming that we don't have a reference note, meaning a piano. Say we wanted to tune the G string to a G on the piano, then we could use that as our reference, play the note, play the G, and tune it until we get that note. Then we can take that string as your reference string and tune the rest of the instrument to it. Okay, so we're assuming that you do not have that, but if you do have that, that would be something like a piano or a pitch pipe or some sort of electronic something that would produce a pitch. There's some online as well, some ukulele tuners. Okay, but let's assume we don't have that. We're driving in the car or we're on a deserted island and we have our ukulele, good thing, and some coconuts and what have you. Okay, so we just have our ukulele and we need to tune the instrument to itself. So here's how we're going to do it. Okay, so you kind of have to have a reference, like which note might be in tune more than another. So let's say this one is in tune. We're going to tune the other strings to it. So it's going to go something like this. If you, on the fourth string, so counting 1, 2, 3, 4, on the fourth string, what you're going to do is pluck it, okay? And then you should be able to go to the 5th fret of that string. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should be able to finger the 5th fret of the 4th string, and the note should be also a C. Now you're hearing bong, 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 bong. Okay? Yeah, talented, right? So those are octaves of each other, but they should both be a C. So you can hear where they're similar. Now, if they're not similar, it might sound something like this. Can you hear a little warble or a little kind of like vibration, if you will? Whoops. So the more it's out of tune, the faster that vibration is. But as it gets closer to the pitch, you can hear that slow down. Till the two notes should sound very close to the same. Okay, so now we said that this note was in tune when we started, or we're referring to the rest of the instrument according to this note, meaning that's our benchmark. That's the one that we're saying sounds the same or sounds consistent. Now we just tuned this string to it, right? Okay. So these two strings are in tune. You're going to come down, so G and C is tuned. Now we're going to tune the E string. And instead of at the 5th fret, I want you to place your finger on the 4th fret of the C string. So here's C, or 1, 2, 3, the 3rd string, and come up 4 frets, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now these two notes should sound the same. So listening to that, this second note is slightly flat. It's just ever so flat, but I'm going to do it a little bit more dramatically here so you can hear what it would sound like if it were really out of tune. So there again, listen if you can hear that warble or that little vibration. Okay, so that means it's out of tune. And what you want to do is you know that this is the reference tune. You know that this first note is the note that we're going to not change. The other note, this one, is the note we are going to change. So you need to be able to do this. This is really important when tuning any instrument, is you need to be able to hum both notes. This takes a little bit of practice, but take your time with it and you'll learn this, okay? Pitch, all that stuff is a learned thing. Some people will say it's not, but it's typically those who aren't around it very often that say it's not. It's a learned thing. Intonation is learned. So here we go. Yes, it sounds very dissonant. That's why we want to tune our instrument. So that's in tune. That's the one that's not in tune. You need to be able to kind of visually, in your mind's eye, in your brain, in your imagination, you need to be able to see that note. Bum, bum. You need to be able to kind of see it in your brain going down. Bum, bum. And if you can see that, then you can know which direction to tune the string up. Okay? So this is our reference. This is the one that needs to be tuned. I'm going to follow it down. So that's the peg winder I need to move. So here we go. So we know that this note, the second note, needs to come up, right? You can hear that vibration or that warble happening less and less. Now it's in tune. Now the two strings sound like one pitch. Get it? Okay, good. Now let's go on to the next string. So we have G, C, E tuned, and now we're going to assume that A is not tuned. There, it's not tuned. And I'm going to play the two. So now on the E string, I want you to go up to the 5th fret. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the way, if you're using a ukulele that is tuned differently, say like a baritone ukulele or something like that, then it's the same exact process. It's just that the strings are named differently, but you'll still put your fingers on the same place, and the whole process is the same. It's just that you're referring to the notes differently. Again, for this process, you don't have to know the names of the notes. We're just knowing where to put our fingers. Okay. So on this one, on the 2nd string, again counting from the bottom, 1, 2, or on this specific ukulele, it's the E string. So you're going to put your first finger, or any finger, it doesn't matter, on the 5th fret, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of the E string or the 2nd string. And you pluck that, and then pluck your 2nd note, which should be an A, or the 1st string. And you can hear, now again, hum that. So, one's higher, one's lower. You need to be able to kind of see that in your brain. Otherwise, you're just fishing for the note when you're doing this. And you can get it, but it's a lot easier if you know which direction to turn it. Okay, so 2nd note's lower, right? So we need to turn it up. There, I was lucky. I got that one first shot. So those sound good. So now if I go to play a chord, should sound pretty in tune. After I get done tuning each individual string like that, I will play a few chords. I do this on the guitar, the banjo, or any instrument that I'm playing to make sure that together, collectively, the notes sound pretty good together. Sometimes you might have to tweak one note just a little bit because of the intonation of the guitar. The intonation is like basically how the guitar stays in tune across the fretboard. So the strings may be in tune here, but then you go to play a chord up here and it's out of tune. That has to do with the bridge and the nut and how the guitar is set up and that sort of thing. But when you have a guitar that is not perfectly set up, which no guitar really is, but you can hear that it's out of tune when you're playing the chord, you might need to adjust that one note just a little bit and kind of compensate so that the chord does sound good. So here you go. We're in tune now. There's a C, A minor, G. It sounds great. All right. So there you go. If you haven't already, go to yourukesage.com and grab the ebook here where I explain this process. Or actually the teaching process we're doing here on the video, but where I teach you theory, teach you chords, teach you how to play bar chords, how to read charts to songs, and I teach hundreds of songs. So check that out. yourukesage.com. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and go practice. See ya.